It is so amazing and humbling to be opening up Diamond Day 2 with a chat with Joe Polish. Hell yes. Joe is a genius who maintains his humbleness, a creative action taker and solution finder, and one of the most generous people I know. To make his first company, Superior Carpet Care, successful, he both intuitively and through learning became a master at direct response and referral-based marketing. Skills he parlayed to help thousands of other carpet cleaners, and then both titans of marketing and household names like Dan Kennedy, Gary Halbert, Ariana Huffington, Sir Richard Branson, Tony Robbins, and many more. It goes without saying, then, that Joe has helped build thousands of businesses and generated hundreds of millions of dollars for his clients. During Joe's highly deserved ascendance, he became, and continues to be, one of the most connected businessmen in all the world. His powerful brain, zest for knowledge and understanding, and unique ability to cultivate relationships are all apparent within Genius Network, which is one of the world's best communities for entrepreneurs alongside Diamond Day. He is also the founder of Artists for Addicts and Genius Recovery, whose mission it is to change the global conversation around addiction and recovery from one of judgment to one of compassion. Today, I get to sit with Joe, tap into how his brain works, what makes him tick, creative ways to build your business, and more. Come on up, Joe.
Am I going to get snagged?
I'll might stick off onto you.
This is awesome.
I'm
going to try one of those to get that outfit. Let me borrow it after this event. Well, great to be here. Great to see everyone. Thank you. And
thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Well, I said I was going to get right into it, and we're going to jump around quite a bit here, but what makes you tick?
That's a good question. It depends on, like Jason was saying, how much dopamine I have running through my system. You know, sometimes it's encouragement and excitement. Other times it's anger and annoyance. At this stage in my life, I would say I'm just trying to increase my levels of consciousness, look at all the stupid shit that I've done in my life and all the thoughts that I have. And I spend more time trying to unlearn than learn. You know, unlearning is more important than learning. And you can learn a lot of things that, you know, Gary Halbert, speaking of copywriters, you know, we used to talk about this all the time, where he would say that the most expensive information in the world is bad information. And there's a lot of bad information in the world. Even if it's free, it's very expensive. You know, how many of you have been given like really bad free information, right? That puts you into a different direction. So yeah, what makes me tick though is I like creating things. I like coming up with crazy ideas. I like hanging out with people that are funny, you know, fun. Yeah, like you, you're fun.
Oh, thank you. What have been some of the most powerful things you've unlearned?
My own value. I spent most of my life thinking I was a worthless piece of shit, and I would always seek external validation from the world. I often say this, you've heard me probably say this at Genius Network, where anyone that writes books, does events, put themselves out there publicly, is probably insecure, has low self-worth, wants the world to validate them, and not everyone, some, most. You know, I know a lot of authors and speakers and famous people, and most of them are just craving that, you know, they pay attention to me, like me. And that all comes from, you know, early on as a child. I mean, it's all, most of what we think and do was all embedded, like you're talking about your story, dirty DNA, right? It's all subconscious stuff. So I'm at a stage, I'm 54 years old now, and I like myself more today than I ever have. And there's still parts of my life working on, because this is deep-seated stuff. I mean, I've done tons of work, lots of work. I mean, we can talk about everything from therapy to a bazillion seminars to tons of 12-step groups to many plant medicine journeys and all that sort of stuff, to meditation and breathing. It's just being connected. So I've learned how to become more connected with myself, because when you're meeting people, you're either in communication or you're trying to escape. And we go in and out of those modes. We'll be talking to someone, but you'll be thinking about something else. You're trying to get away. And some people, you'll pick up on their energy, that they're like, taker energy. So and let me just say something too, how many here know who I am? Okay, how many of you have no idea who the hell I am? Okay, so, because it's, why would you, right?
It was my next question.
Well, oh, was it?
Yes.
Well, ask me, and then I'll say.
Yes, and to bring it back a little bit, for those who might not know you super well,
Yeah.
How would you say what you do currently?
That's complicated, because when I say it's complicated is I have a business, I have Genius Network, and you ever read the book The Culture Code? It says, like, when someone's in America, who you are, what you do is who I am. It's how we identify, our identities in America is so wrapped up in our work. And so, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a marketer, and I also do weird stuff. I have equity in over 25 different companies. I have a VR company. I recently bought a 40-acre ghost town, so I now happen to own the Cleater Bar and Yacht Club. So I have a couple of friends, Jason Campbell and Mike Leone and a guy named Ben Hootie, and so we own a 40-acre ghost town. We just bought a 400-acre ranch with Nick Peterson also. He's a crypto guy. And I'm now in 260 acres of gold and silver landmine claims, and that's all in the last, since January 11th. And so
Wow.
it's, weird, it's weird. But I really like skunkwork projects. The town of Cleater, Arizona, I bought it because I wanted to be Cleater for creators. I want to use it for addiction recovery. So I spend about half my time in entrepreneurship stuff and the other half in addiction recovery stuff, which makes me no money. I actually spend money to do it. But like you had mentioned, I want to help reduce human suffering. And the reason is because I know the pain of addiction. I mean, I made money early on in my life because of copy, because of marketing, and because of the ability to influence people to buy things. And I'm really proud of the track record, because I did not leave scorched earth. I did a lot of internal damage to myself, but I never sold shit to people that didn't work. In a lot of the most well-known authors and speakers and stuff, they are not their books. They are not the people they write about. And so there's a big difference between capabilities and character. And so I really focus on just hopefully building a bigger character. And I'm not saying any of this like I'm some person that is above anyone else. I have when people like, oh, I really like and admire your stuff, I appreciate that. I really do. It's great. If people are not saying good things about what you do and giving you testimonials, then you probably should take a look at what the hell you're putting out in the world. They should say it's awesome, right? And if they're not, then get better at it. And at the same time, I really focus on being a giver. Life gives to the giver and takes from the taker. And so there's a lot of I've had to really identify bringing in less narcissist. I really want friends that are givers, not takers. And when you're studying the art of influence and copy, it is one of the most powerful skills in the world. Gary Halbert, who's the first guy I learned marketing from, he said, one of the first things he said that really resonated with me was, any problem in the world can be solved with the right sales letter. And I used to think, well, there's lots of problems that can't be solved with a sales letter. And the more I got into it, it's like, actually, most problems can be solved with a sales letter. They really can't. Or at least you can find the love of your life with a sales letter. You can end a relationship with a sales letter. You can, you can attract amazing people. You can do immense damage. If you look at what's happened in the world in the last couple of years and all the fear porn, there's a lot of copy that's out there that it just scares the fuck out of people and is used in destructive ways. But the ability to influence, it's how you use it. You can do enormous, there's so much just acknowledge what you're doing here. The ripple effect of teaching people how to be better at this skill is enormous. Helping them do it in a way that is meaningful and significant and ethical, and will move it's enormous. I mean, this room here is a small room, relatively speaking, can impact hundreds of millions of people, if not billions. I mean, there's probably someone in here that will do something that is so significant as a result of this, and that's what I call the first domino. What's the first domino that does that? And copywriters, I love copywriters. I mean, I'm friends with Gary Benzavinga. I wrote the foreword to John Carlton's book. Gary Halbert became one of my best friends before he died. Clayton Makepeace was a friend. Paris Lampropoulos has been a Genius Network member on and off for years. I mean, I know some of the top copywriters in the world, and there's amazing things that can be done with it. And if anything, I wanted to do is I just want to use my marketing skills now to help people that struggle with addiction. So I run a business so I could have money, but after a point, and I don't poo-poo money. People that say money is not important, try living without it. Money may not buy happiness, and it's not true. I buy happiness all the time. Fucking all kinds of happiness. I mean, and if you're a miserable person with money, if you think money can't buy happiness, you haven't given enough of it away. Because if you use your money for people that can benefit from it and need it, but if you throw money to entitled people or to things that don't work, California is a perfect example. You can throw a ton of money at homelessness and make it worse, right? So it's not the money. It's where the resources are utilized. And don't spend your time and attention and energy on takers. Don't give resources to people that don't appreciate it, that are not resourceful. But if you empower amazing people to do better, that's I think what you're doing here. So a lot of times people look at an event, and it's funny doing events. I've done events for years. Everyone comes into a room and everyone does the arithmetic, but they don't do the subtraction. They think all this shit's free. Like, oh, how many people here paid X and how much are they making? I mean, all this is expensive, right? And all of the setup, but to put yourself, it's such a great way to learn. You learn copy, you start using your business, and now you're teaching it to others. I mean, there's a secret here. It's like one of the best ways to learn anything is to teach other people.
Yes.
It's one of the reasons I did it. You can learn through the School of Hard Knocks, which is what most people do. You can learn through the experiences of other people, read their books, listen to podcasts, go to their seminars. The most effective, fastest way to learn is to teach it to other people, which means teach stuff that you've developed, not steal other people's shit. And the marketing world is filled with some of the biggest scumbags on the planet. So a lot of the people that I used to admire, that were even colleagues and friends of mine, I don't hang out with them anymore because I really look at how they use, Robert Cialdini's a dear friend of mine. He's always focused on using influence in an ethical manner. BJ Fogg, Chris Voss is one of my clients. I'm around influential people all the time, but it's not, that by itself doesn't build a great life and make a great person. It may make you a lot of money, but I think the character of who you can look in the mirror every night and say, I'm really contributing to the world. And you have to be connected with yourself first. So again, don't misconstrue what I'm saying. I mean, in my darkest states of addiction, I'd go out and do seminars, and I would have rooms of people that were, tears in their eyes, and we delivered really good stuff, but I'd go back to my hotel room and I was disconnected, and I would hire escorts, and I would pay for sex, and I would have these addictive behaviors, and I was a total workaholic. And it was just very painful, and it was so conflicting, and it's because I never dealt with the shame and the trauma that happened as a child, and I carried that shit with me into my adulthood. And if you don't deal with it at some point, it will eat you alive. Silent battles are the hardest battles to fight. And so I'll tell you though, marketing is applied psychology. And you can write about all the stuff, all the dreams, all the desires, but if you don't tap into your own desires and your own healing, you can put out good words into the world, but the real sales job we always need to do is the one we do on ourselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. There's so much to...
Yeah, sorry, that's what I do.
There's so much to unpack there, and we're going to talk a good amount more about Genius Recovery in just a second. But you had mentioned the marketing piece, and we have a lot of service providers in the room. Do you have any could you share any of your clever ways for a service provider to get more clients?
Yeah, first off, as you will probably teach people this in many different ways, the list is the most important element before you make an offer, right? Offer, list, copy, whatever way you want to do it. And I focus on people that I want to be a hero to. It's a Dan Sullivan thing. Who do you want to be a hero to? It is a lot easier to focus your resources in your time and in your attention. Because I just finished writing a book for Hay House that comes out November 1st, and it's called What's in It for Them. And in the process of writing this book, I don't mention this that much in the book. I talk about it, but I don't say the term TAMI, which, what you can spend, time, attention, money, effort, and energy. So how do you spend your TAMI? Who gets your TAMI? What gets your TAMI? Your time, attention, money, effort, and energy. And picking the right target to who to market to. I mean, God knows how much more money I would have made if I wouldn't have spent so much time selling things to carpet and upholstery cleaners. Now, I built the largest, and they're great people. They're wonderful humans. I've never been able to kill that business because it just helps people. I still own it, but I built the largest training organization in the world, and it was needed, though, because I was one of them. So it wasn't like just pick the niche with the most money. It's pick the thing that you will actually wake up every day, and you will be excited to help them. And you'll be, there's people that just have that enthusiasm for what it is they're doing, and other people that have enormous skills, but they're in a half business, which is hard, annoying, lame, and frustrating, or often hard, annoying, lucrative, and frustrating. How many of you made money in a lucrative way, but you bled? It was so painful. Anyone expect, right? So get rid of your half clients, get rid of your half projects, get rid of half people, and replace them with things that are easy, lucrative, and fun. So if there's any skill, it's like I focus my efforts on players with money. The people that have the money to afford the stuff that I offer, target them. I mean, there are marketers that are so much better, so much more skilled than I am, but I just operate with higher level people. Jason Fladlin will, an example, and Jason's a dear friend, and he says, that dude's smart as shit, so you got him. How many of you know Jason? Yeah. He's a little weird, but he's clever as hell.
He's
and Rich,
speaking tomorrow
Rich,
morning.
Yeah, and Rich, you got some good people here. So I guess what I will say, because the question is, what are some of the clever things that I've done, or what things that made the biggest difference? This is not the best strategic tactical advice, but I think it's the most important. How many of you in this room are worth at least $1 million? Okay, how many of you worth over 5 million, 10 million? How many of you in this room would like me to give you $1 million? Okay, make you a deal. How many of you would pluck out one of your eyeballs right now for $1 million? Anyone? 5 million? Would anyone lop off a leg for 10 million? So you're already worth more than $1 million because you have something you wouldn't give for $1 million, right? Or 5 million. How many of you would pull out an eyeball for $100 million? Would you?
I'd certainly fucking think about it.
Yeah. No, thank you for the honesty. Thank you. But okay, so now this is a weird roundabout way to get to your question, but here's the thing. You wake up every day with vision and the ability to walk. There are 1 billion people on this planet, their dreams would come true if they could trade places with any of you right now. The freedoms that you have, they're not laid up in a hospital bed. And people fucking squander that. And I squandered that. I woke up, you hear gratitude and all this sort of shit, and I would be miserable inside and be like, what the fuck? And so part of it, if there's any way to get what you want, it's to realize you already got something incredible. You can see, you can hear, you can talk, you can write, you can think, you can contribute. And if you can bring some appreciation to that, and if you're feeling really shitty and really miserable, go help someone who's in a worse shape than you, and it is amazing what that'll do. If you want to make more money, be more helpful to other people. You want to get more, give more. that sort of thing. So from a strategic thing, learn how to write copy, learn how to make offers, learn how to produce results. Everyone talks about thought leaders. You know, I want to be a thought leader, I want to be an influencer. What the fuck are you influencing? Influencing, you know, I'm a content creator. Everyone's like, if you took a dump this morning, you're a content creator. I mean, you know, everything can be considered content, you know, so it's like, be a result leader. You know, focus on being a result leader. Thought leaders, any idiot can come up with a thought. I mean, you can steal other people's thoughts. So focus on what can you solve, and if you don't know how to solve it, how do you figure out how to solve it, and then go deep with it, because we live in a world of shallow. I mean, I miss the days when there was no cell phones. I mean, you know, we used to have a corded phone, and we had more freedom when they had the phone corded than when you could walk around anywhere with it. It's bizarre. And Jason, like what he was alluding to, is phones are constant dopamine hits that, you know, we were talking yesterday about this, that give you constant rewards for nothing. And, you know, it doesn't take any energy to look at porn online and to get a big dopamine hit, but what it does is that sort of thing. So creating the environment that allows you to produce results and hanging out with people that are givers and coming from that place will, if you set up that, then all of the other capabilities and skills, because I don't think anyone is here because they want to actually sit in a 2-day to 4-day event. You're here because you want to get a result, and in order to get a result, you need to get capabilities, and what you're delivering here to everyone is capabilities from your own life and what you've learned and how to apply it, and this is a capability event. So keep stacking on capabilities that you can learn and discard the things and the people and the projects that are draining you, because if you can't get excited about something, all the technique and strategy and tactics in the world are only going to go so far.
Mm-hmm.
Did you cue everyone to applaud, or am I just saying shit that they like? I don't know. Thank you.
Let's talk about connection. So you went from opening a carpet cleaning business, discovering marketing, and then meeting people like Bill Clinton and stuff. Huh?
Yeah, unfortunately, Clinton. But yeah, no, I've been to his office. But now politicians, boy, they're a whole nother breed. But I've met Clinton, I've met Trump. I know a lot of interesting people.
So how does that happen?
You know, it happens because I'm just a curious dude, and I'm always interested in. I'm just curious. I have this insatiable curiosity, and even people that I don't often like, I often try to put myself in the shoes of how do they see the world? Why do they think the things that they think? And you cannot change anyone's mind by arguing. So I oftentimes have to think, if I dislike this person, or how did they become who they become? I mean, and even if you despise, pick any politician, right? To put yourself out there publicly either requires you really want to try to do something that you consider meaningful, or you're so damn narcissistic and you think the world just revolves around you that you don't give a shit and you're power hungry. So there's all these motivations. But for me, I wanted to learn what other people, how they became leaders, how they became influential, how they did it as they do. And so it was funny. I was talking to what the guy that has the entrepreneurs group. What does
Devin.
Sorry, Devin, I forgot name. Yeah, we're just I started the Joe Polish audio tape of the Joe Polish Superstar Audio Tape of the Month program back in 1995, and I started interviewing. So I had the Piranha Marketing Letter, which was my Piranha Marketing Letter I would send out to my carpet cleaners, and I would have to write this every month. And those of you that have ever committed yourself to an ongoing tale that you would sell, some people, it's so much easier to sell the thing versus deliver on it, right? And so, and me and John Carlton would always talk about this. It's like, you write something that, make sure you want to service the tale if you're going to have the tale attached to it. And so I would write this monthly newsletter, and one month I was super behind. I would sit down. There were times where I would sit down and spend 30 to 50 hours writing one of my 8-page newsletters. I would just put so much work into it. And I'd look back at some of the stuff I wrote in 1994, 1995, and I was like, God, it was actually really good. Because I I was into it, you know, and if you lose the spark, you have to reignite it or you have to take care of yourself. A lot of times, you know, life is you're on track, you get off track, you have to, you know, get back on track. And so one of the, what I don't even know what I'm talking about at this point. Like I'm sitting there going, this is how my brain works because I'm super ADD. I'm like, there's a deep point I want to say in here. And then in the midst of it all, I completely forgot the whole, but it'll come back to me if you could, like, ask me the question again because this is how bizarrely my brain works.
Well,
and this is going to be like, wow, this dude's weird as shit.
we love it. We love weird. I asked how you went from, you know, the marketing world and you started off broke and all this stuff to meeting these incredibly powerful people.
Okay.
Yeah.
So no, thank you. It just needed that in order to bring me back, truly. So I interviewed this guy in Sales and Persuasion. And in the conversation I had with him, instead of my newsletter, and I was this month we're sending out a cassette tape because it was cassette tapes back then. I mean, I started marketing when there was no internet. We were using, like, you know, postcards and direct mail and sales letters and, you know, magazine ads and all that sort of stuff. And the conversation and the questions, I learned that questions are more important than answers. If you learn how to ask good questions, you will get almost anything you want, and not just to other people, but to yourself. If people aren't getting what they want in their life, they usually ask themselves really shitty questions, like, why does my life suck? Or why am I, you know, why am I single? Or why am I this? Or why am I that? It's like, well, you know, what's another more empowering question? And so I wanted to meet other people so I could get perspective. The biggest thing I look for when I go to events, like, I will sit here and take notes. I mean, I always try to approach everything from a beginner's mind. When you get to the point where you think you're too cool for school, you're a fucking idiot. I mean, people that come to events and are only going to be there if they're the, you know, it's that whole thing we say in Genius Network all the time. I don't want to be the smartest person in the room. I want to be in a room where everyone's getting smarter. So I always want to be in a room where everyone's getting smarter, and I want to start with a beginner's mind because, the curse of knowledge is very dangerous. So I get real excited about different perspectives in meeting different people and understanding how they think and how they've been able to do the things they do. So and I do a lot of that just by wanting to meet them. But I never ask anyone to do anything for me without creating value first. You know, I don't ask people to, hey, will you do this for me? You know, the Wayne Gretzky thing, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Annoying people take that in the wrong way. They will often be like, hey, look, you know, everyone thinks they're right, you know, and that's, you know, and humans, you know, humans are monkeys that drive cars. So you got to understand the creatures that we are, right? And so it takes a lot of awareness to realize where you're not right or where you're wrong and where your intentions don't match your actions. And so the seeking out different people in the beginning was, I thought if I could meet this person, I could learn from them, and I certainly did. And I've learned a tremendous amount. I mean, I've met some of the most incredible humans on the planet, and I've also met some of the most despicable people on the planet. And I can also learn tremendous amounts from them too, because some people's purpose in life is to serve as a bad example. And so if you can go find bad examples, you can learn what not to do, right? And not how to do things. And because I've read over 1,000 books, I would, you know, when I was growing up, my mother died when I was 4. My father's heart was broken. We moved every year to 2 years my entire childhood. I was totally introverted. I was super shy. I was scared to talk to people. And as soon as we would establish friendships, me and my brother, my father would uproot and move somewhere else because he never recovered from my mother dying. And my mother was a former nun, so I was, that's a whole nother story. I know the jokes, by the way. So I was raised Catholic, and there's a lot of bad stuff that happened in my childhood, in church and stuff. And so I would have this conflicted thing with trying to understand, what is God? Is there a higher power? What, you know, praying to this source that I never felt, and then having all of these things that I considered awful and bad happen to me, and I was so disconnected as a child and I never heard I loved you until I became probably about 18 years old, I think, when I can remember my father maybe saying it to me, that I can remember for the first time. And it's not that he didn't love me, he didn't know how to express himself. I mean, I feel so bad for my father because he just had a hard life. He had a really hard life. And he didn't know how to take care of his kids. It was beyond his capabilities, but he did the best he knew how to do. And the empathy that I have for humans is almost everyone is doing the best they know how to do, even if they're making, bad mistakes. And when I'm thinking from a higher place, I kind of understand that. So being in a place of real disconnection for so many years, I just wanted to connect. So seeking it out is I just wanted to connect. And so I met a lot of people, and I still do, and I engage with a lot of people, and to me it's fascinating. And I don't believe that time is money. I believe that relationships are money. Mm-hmm. If you ever had your alarm go off, there's not piles of money sitting next to there. Money comes in the form of relationships, what you do with them and how you nurture them. And it makes me feel good when I connect with people and when I learn. And now I like connecting other people with it. So the whole pursuit of creating a connection network, which is what Genius Network really is, it's really not just a mastermind, it's a connection network. It came because of my deep need for me to feel connected because I was just lonely and shy and scared. And so that's...
Would you say you're still shy?
Yes, but I force myself to put myself out there. I mean, even though I've spoken for an hour in front of thousands of people, and at times, and have run numerous events, I'm nervous, and my heart beats a little bit before almost every one of them, because I want it to be useful. Mm-hmm. I want it to be useful for people. I mean, there are times where I'm relaxed and it doesn't. So I'm not saying this is for effect. Because I know some people they get scared shitless out of speaking. I mean, here's the problem with being a good copywriter. You can actually sell shit that have to deliver on it, and you may not be prepared to go out there and do it. So I remember my first event to carpet cleaners. I wrote an 8-page sales letter. It was how to double your business in 6 months or less, and it was an 8-hour event to 52 people. I had this guy named Dennis that was in San Diego that had this little carpet cleaning supply thing, and the deal I worked with him is let's bring the people that buy chemicals and equipment from you to an event. I'll teach them how to do better marketing. They'll buy more chemicals and equipment from you, and I'll give you 10% of the program that I'm going to offer. And so I had created this program that I was selling for $497 for a basic program, and then $597 for a gold. And God, if I would have understood memberships at that time, that ongoing, how many hundreds of millions I threw down the drain. But no, I still sold tens of millions of dollars worth of courses to carpet cleaners and whatnot. But and to this day, we still have so many of these people that it works for. But I had a sales letter that got 52 people to show up, and I was scared shitless of public speaking. And I didn't have any guest speakers. I had to stand up there for 8 hours and just teach all this shit. And people would tell me after 5 minutes, you get relaxed. The jitteriness goes away. And the entire day, I'm just fuck, And I used to be a cocaine addict too. So if any of you ever freebase cocaine and then they're jonesing afterwards, it's sort of similar to that. Not quite the exact same thing, but similar. But anyway, so I did the event, and at the end of it, I had to pitch and offer my program. And I sold $12,000 worth of this program at the end of it. And I'm like, I better get good at this public speaking shit. I mean, where else am I going to make this kind of money? And so I read this line that which you fear and don't face controls you. Mm. That which you fear and take steps to face, you can control it. And so I walked through my life going, if I don't constantly put myself in pressure situations, I'm going to miss out on opportunities not only for myself to make money, to get ahead, to do whatever the hell it is that putting yourself out there is going to do. But if your focus is on status, I mean, you can buy all that shit. I mean, most social media, all media is bullshit. I mean, it's just... And when I say it's bullshit, it doesn't mean you can't reach people and that you can't do it organically and all that, and many people do. What I mean is that you can game the system. But if your focus is on growth, for yourself and others versus status, I think you're going to go way further ahead. And that has absolutely nothing to do with fame. I mean, you can be incredibly impactful and influential and not have to be famous, or if you want to pursue fame because of that. So, yeah, I mean, anyway, I'm just...
What's an example of leading with value for you to initiate a connection?
Well, don't assume that what you're offering is valuable is what the client wants. So getting feedback from people that you're selling to, why are they buying, what are they buying? People that don't buy from you, why did they not buy? I mean, I think you can crowdsource some of the best copy that's ever going to be written is not going to be written by a marketing consultant or a copywriter. It's going to be written by your own clients by asking them questions about why they buy from you. And so a lot of my copy throughout the years, I never wrote any of it. I just asked my clients, what do you like? What do you dislike? You know, not just about my own stuff, but about the industry and being able to, you know, what copywriters and marketers from non-marketers and non-copywriters don't. The biggest challenge people have with making money with marketing is they underestimate the importance of it. They just don't know how valuable it is. And a really great copywriter doesn't just weave words together, they do research and they get into the they understand the mindset of the person that they're selling to. They, you know, the Robert Collier line from the Robert Collier letter book, you want to enter a conversation that exists in your prospects' minds. And I mean, this is something I'm sure everyone here has heard 100 times. It's just, you know, if you want to sell what John Smith buys, you got to see through John Smith's eyes, you know, that sort of stuff. So you have to crawl into to the head of the client. And that means what you think is valuable has no bearing on reality to what they think is valuable. Like, I think it's really valuable to eat healthy foods and to exercise and to get decent sleep and to be a caring, giving person. But how many of you can look at, you know, what's the #1 restaurant in the world? McDonald's. You know, people getting your body in your actions to do what your brain and your mouth is telling it to do are two different things. You know, trying to be congruent in that are two different things. And so focusing on value creation, for one, is understanding what does that mean to the person? You know, because what's valuable to you may not be valuable to someone else. So it's what people say they want, but their actions and what they do is really what they're into. So for me, the way that I look at things is I tell people what they want, I try to give them what they need. They want more money, they want more clients, they want more fame, they want more notoriety, they want all that stuff. And that's the things that we often do with Genius Network. But once they get there, as you know, we talk about, you know, what are your, what relationships are not elf to you? What are the things that you're doing that are destroying you? Look at your workaholism. Because, you know, last year I took a 1-year sabbatical, you know, and I have a business built around me, and I literally took the entire year off last year, and my members and my team ran Genius Network. I literally did not attend any of the meetings. I didn't show up. And it worked. It was bizarre. I never thought you could do that. Like, how do you take a personality business and you can, you know, not everyone, like a few members are like, well, if Joe's not going to be there, we're not going to go. But my team brought in a whole bunch of new members, and they loved it. And the reviews, because we do feedback on every meeting, were 95% 8, 9s, and 10s. And that is because many years of focusing on trying to be useful and valuable to people. And
if somebody wanted to provide you with some value in order to start a connection with you, should they send you a tray of healthy food and gluten and sugar-free brownies and things like this?
Gluten-free brownies, let me think. Well, if I was thinking from my reptile brain when I used to be an addict, if you could send me hookers and blow, that would be one thing. But for today, no, the thing that, it's funny, well, reciprocity is an important thing in how you use it, right? Because like, Jay Abraham's a good friend of mine. How many of you know Jay? I mean, Jay's crazy. If you get him in the conversation, so he's like ADD off the charts, but he's brilliant as hell. And, you know, he has this term, engineered reciprocity. And you can engineer all kinds of things, but if someone really comes at it from it, I like when people reach out to me and they want things. And I've thought about this. I actually think I was talking about this the last meeting we were at. where, and I really thought about this in writing my book. My book coming out in November is called What's in It for Them, and it's a book on how to help other people get what they want. And there was that Zig Ziglar famous line, you can have anything you want in life if you help enough other people get what they want. Most people have heard that, right? That's not always true, because sometimes you can actually help other people get what they want and they won't do a damn thing for you, and they will abuse you and they will take advantage of you. So it's not just helping other people get what they want, it's selecting the right people, meaning only align yourself with people that are aligned with you. So part of value and creating value and stuff is aligning. So for me, if someone has a want, everyone here has a want. Okay, you came here, you paid money to come here, not just money, but your time, your attention, your effort, you got on airplanes. There's something you want. So when the want is greater than the give, then you have a problem. So if someone comes to me and they want something, if they show up with something that's a give, so I try to actually have the gives that I offer people to become greater than my wants. I want something from this person, but I'm willing to do this. And I don't mean tit for tat. I truly, it's really hard to get people to sometimes make the distinction of, if you genuinely go out and just become really useful in the world, I karmically believe that it will come back to you in droves. If your agenda is, I'm gonna act like I care about the person, I'm gonna give them a fake compliment, and flattery works. You can bullshit people all day long. I mean, it really does work short term. We live in a fucking culture that is gaslighting the shit out of people every second of the day through media. I mean, it's like the most narcissistic insanity, and it moves people. So you certainly can move people with evil intent. The thing, though, to genuinely connect, though, and to really create value is when every time you interact with someone, they feel expanded. They don't feel contracted, you know? And you can gauge it with, you can gauge the value of most relationships by how often you laugh together. You know, if you just sit out, if you're with people and you're just not even having fun, it's miserable. So if you can set up and arrange your life in a way to where, I had to get pummeled for so many years to realize that some of the greatest resources and gifts that are available to me and to the world are just doing the things that you naturally are talented in. And spending your time developing, if you spend your life developing your weaknesses, at the end of your life, you have a lot of really strong weaknesses. So if Dan Sullivan is a dear friend of mine, and Dan has founded a company called Strategic Coach, and we do a podcast together. We have, all these sort of things. You don't get rewarded, I don't think, at the end of this life by being cheap or being stingy. Your gifts and your talents and your skills and your resources are not like fine china where you can only pull them out during Thanksgiving or whatever. Use them. The things that really, the rifts that you have, the skills that you have, there are people in the world that need them, that want them and see them. Just give them, make them freely available, and you will become known as someone that is really useful and generous and valuable and attentive. And if you do enough of that, these same people will want to give you money. And so, as much as I'm a marketer, I really don't do that much marketing. The marketing that I do is I demonstrate it by just trying to be a decent person.
Yeah.
I put tons of shit out into the world for free. And in a handful of people, and again, that's not, here's the thing too. If you're brand new in business, you want to be a sales killer. You want to write sales letters that convert. You want to get deals. You want to go and get clients. So please don't misconstrue that I got to pay the rent. I'm in a fortunate situation. I'm fucking rich. I have money, So it's not that rich. I mean, there's people that infinitely have more money, but I don't have to work another day in my life unless I don't blow all the money I blew on crypto the last couple of years. Terrible. Painful. But I literally lost a couple $1 million in the last 3 weeks. It was a big kick to the nuts, but I laugh about it going, God, I'm glad I could actually lose that much money. I mean, what did I have to do in my life to do that and still not lose my shit and still be, part of it is my lovely, amazing, beautiful, wonderful human girlfriend, Cherie over here, the vaginal plastic surgeon. It's so great. I mean, the best thing with her is that, for one, she's the kindest, sweetest, truly most amazing human. But the other is I can insert the word vagina into almost any conversation and get away with it. And it's just, yeah. So to put a bow on this thing here with value, make sure that your give is greater than the people's want. Okay, then you will not only sell things to people, but they will tell others about it. Like the Disneyland thing. Walt Disney said he wanted people to come to Disneyland, and he wanted the experience to be so great that when people left, they could not tell other people about it. So if you can do things in a way to where other people just have to say, wow, that person exceeded my expectations, that person really cared, genuinely making sure that people are awesome. And who becomes a real close friend of mine, and I have a lot of friends, I have a lot of acquaintances, because at some point in time, everyone, you don't fly into flying. You crawl, you walk, you run, you learn how to do things, and then you become, you have to put in the reps. You have to there's no way to shortcut certain skills and capabilities. But when it comes to the human element of I always want to leave things better off than they were before I showed up. When people, I look at people. If a server is serving food and they don't say thank you, someone opens up the door and they're not appreciative of that, if they treat everyone above them like they're awesome and they're wonderful, but then they treat their staff like shit. I mean, I look at people when they're not on stage. How are you off stage? And does your front stage match your backstage? And there's a tremendous amount of incongruency. And if you can get your backstage to match your front stage, assuming that your front stage is good, then the long-term effect of that are really that's what value is to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned writing your books.
Mm-hmm.
Can you take us through your process for writing a book?
Well, my process now will be forever changed in the future since I read a book called Write Useful Books that my buddy Clay Hebert shared this book with me, and Rob Fitzpatrick is the author, and it's called Write Useful Books. And I will never write a book in the future again without using a bit of the format that's in that book. So I've written several books, but I never published. One of the things I wish I would have done years ago. So Craig Clemens, I know many of you know Craig Clemens. He's made a ton of money as a copywriter. Craig used to come to my seminars when he was broke, because I used to let him come to my Piranha marketing events, and he'd take notes in the back, and now the motherfucker's made tons of money. But anyway, so he's great. He's a great copywriter. And so, I had him speak at, he's been a 100K member, and he's in my 100K group and stuff. And he, had just started doing his Instagram influencer thing. This was several years ago. And people are like going, how do you build up all this stuff? And he's like, he goes, if I look back, write a book. Just write a book and document the stuff, because that could live on forever, whereas you can become an influencer and it might just disappear into the ether, be it TikTok or Instagram or whatever. And my process for writing books is I think of riffs, and you think of musicians that you like. They all have riffs. There's certain styles of music, and so if you can, I keep track of my riffs. When do I say certain things that resonate with people? Like, for instance, I never give the same speech. And when people interview me, I didn't see the questions. I actually, if they want to show me questions, I'll say, don't show me any questions, and you can ask me anything you want, and nothing's off limits. If you want to ask about the craziest addiction stuff, the deepest shame, if I don't feel comfortable answering it, I won't. But the thing with my books, it's like, I think of, who is the audience that I'm targeting? What's the core message that I want to convey? How do I transfer it to other people? Because it's one thing, you can bedazzle people in a speech, but if you don't share something with them that they can't not go out into their own life and use, then you aren't a very good teacher. Because a good teacher and a good consultant doesn't just share people, smart things to do or not do. They actually do it in a way to where the person can actually take it and put it into their life. That's what the ability to produce a result is. So I want to write books that allow people to create results, but without me, write useful books will be far more valuable for you to read than anything that I could say about writing a book. What I will say, though, is if it's hard to read the label when you're inside the jar, which is a line from one of my Genius Network members, Todd Murphy. And a lot of times I'm so close to it that I need other people's help. So I recruit other people to write and help me write. But I always give them credit because I would never, me personally, this is not right or wrong. I mean, if your name is on the book and you paid to have the book written by a ghostwriter, then you are the author because you did that. For me, I feel more, like even this book, I can get testimonials from Richard Branson, from Tony Robbins, from all kinds of famous people. But my book coming out, I don't want a single testimonial that on the book that did not come from someone that didn't read all of it. And I've said that to the people I've sent it out, because all these books that have famous authors, famous people putting book blurbs, 98% of them never read a fucking word of the book. And it's bullshit. It's like, it's incongruent, it's lying. And it's like, and everyone knows it, except the readers. And when I say everyone, I mean everyone on the inside. Yeah. It's like, that's not how I want my, so for me, I want to write about stuff that I am grappling with, that I have figured out how to solve, that is value that I know I think can bring to the world, that I want to evoke conversations on difficult subjects. I want it to be funny, so I have all this criteria of what I like, but man, if I would have read Write Useful Books years ago, it would have saved me so much time, so much angst, and I record my riffs, and in almost every person that does a podcast in the realm of how-to or self-help or anything in the fix your life category, almost everyone that has a podcast doing that, most of them, that's their own form of therapy, and most of them are too scared to walk into a therapist's office and ask for fucking help, so they have to pretend like they're gurus that are doing a goddamn podcast. and it's so it's funny, but it's a smart way to do therapy too.
Yeah.
So if you want to figure shit out in your life, just ask people that are smarter than you to talk about it. And so the fastest, most efficient way to learn for me is discussions. Get in discussions, like we're having a discussion right now. And I will learn just as much from this as any bullshit that I'm babbling right now, just by talking with you about it.
Yeah, talking it through.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a story about somebody who has been helped through Genius Recovery?
Can I name their names?
You don't have to.
Let's see. There's been lots of people that have been helped by Genius Recovery, and there's lots of interviews that I have done. Like I have an interview with Gabor Mate, who is a dear friend and a trauma expert, and we have a interview online. It's his favorite interview that he's done with anyone. I introduced him to Tim Ferriss. Tim has interviewed him. He's all over the place. Have any of you watched any Gabor Mate? Okay, seriously, if write down Gabor, G-A-B-O-R, Mate, M-A-T-E, and type in his name and my name and watch that damn video on YouTube. It's got about, 750,000 people watch it, but it's really good. I'll tell you a story just because it's most present in my mind. Last week, I had a guy call me who I ran into in the gym here in Scottsdale, and he's like, I've heard you talk about, I'm sorry. It wasn't, that wasn't a text he just sent me a week ago. But I met this guy in a gym. I invited him to an entrepreneurial group. He's a newer one of my members. And so I'm trying to say this in a way so just to protect the innocent. And he sent me a text about a week ago, and he's like, I've heard you talk about addiction, and I was wondering if you'd be willing to have a short conversation about this. And I sent him a text. Was this for you or for another person? But I've had a million of these conversations, so I already knew it was about him. But then I immediately called him on the phone, and he answered. And then he's telling me about how he's sleeping with multiple women, and he cannot stop, and he's meeting women that these are good quality women, and he'd like to be in a relationship, but he doesn't want to get into a relationship with any of them because he feels terrible, because he has this insatiable urge to have sex with multiple women. And so me having a background in sex addiction, which is really an intimacy disorder, I gave him the line, my favorite definition of intimacy, which was taught to me by a 70-year-old gay man who devotes his life to helping people with sexual addictions. He said, and I shared this with him. He said, intimacy is a mutual exploration of a shared safe place. Abuse is anything that takes away the safe place, and addictions are what we do to make ourselves feel good when we don't have a safe place. And so I said, this desire, I mean, you're a young guy, you know, wanting to be sexual is one thing. When it's making your life unmanageable, you're using, so addiction is a solution to pain. I don't think a war on drugs is the wrong war. Drugs are actually the solution. The problem is the pain. And you cannot punish pain out of people. Currently the criminal justice system is treating addicts, and it needs to be a more compassionate industry. So the first thing I want to do is help them to bring some compassion to, if you look at yourself as a moral degenerate, and if you are hurting people, you really need to take a look at that. But he was being very promiscuous. And I said, if you're having sex without condoms with multiple people and you're not telling them, you're putting other people in danger, for one. Secondly, you're feeling like shit all the time, and so you can have the addiction, and it's very difficult. See, all forms of addiction are binging and purging. It's either excess or deprivation, and another form of sexual addiction is not the inability to be sexual and feel connected. So that's sexual anorexia. It very much mirrors like food addiction. And so what I did is I told him to go to Sex Addicts Anonymous meetings. I gave him a phone number of a local person who immediately called him and started working with him. I said, go to meetings because you'll get community there. Talk to this therapist, and then I gave him some stuff to start going into the trauma work, because in order to get sober and stay sober, you need community first. Second is it's biochemical. It's serotonin. It's dopamine. 70% of serotonin is made in the gut. If your gut's messed up, you're not going to have happy, feel-good chemicals, and you're going to look for ways to crave with food or sugar or gambling or work. I mean, I guarantee you, half this room are people that have work addictions, because workaholism is a respectable addiction. You can hide behind fame and money and performance and all of that. It's very complicated, but I struggled with it and still do, the workaholism, because that's a tricky one, right? Mm-hmm. But I gave him some resources, and I started him on the path. And so now that he's on that path, and he talked with the therapist I gave him, and went to his first meeting, and he's checked in with me almost daily, and he's doing really well, but he doesn't realize the road ahead. There's a path, but I just told him, you're just trying to fuck the pain away. And healthy sexuality, you will feel expanded but if you feel dirty and shameful, there's something there, and it doesn't make you a bad person. It's just life, because there's many people in the room, men and women here, that were sexually abused, and you have issues and I know that, and I've always, but it's like crypto addiction. Oh my God, the world of crypto and NFTs and everything, it is a petri dish for addiction right now. It's nonstop FOMO, 24/7, Tom's disease, which is terrified of missing shit, and it's like, it's that sort of thing. And so it's not, that guy's thing was, he's an entrepreneur, trying to hustle, trying to build, and he's successful. This is a successful guy. And one of the things I said is, the problem with having money when you have unresolved trauma is you can buy any sort of vice your twisted brain can come up with. So be careful of getting rich and not dealing with your traumas, because you will fuck your life up way quicker than broke people will. I mean, but that's just one example. But we put a lot of education out into the world. Genius Recovery is an educational platform. My goal is to change the global conversation about how people view and treat addicts with compassion instead of judgment, and find the best forms of treatment that have efficacy. And I'm probably going to start, we did one movie for Artists for Addicts that won the Audience Choice Awards at the Sedona Film Festival. And my goal is to bring art and entrepreneurship together to get more resources. I don't want to charge money for the things we put out for addicts. So the money that we bring in for Genius Recovery is to just continue to build the education. Ultimately, we're going to do, we will do programming in VR, because I have a VR company called Genius X, and we will do addiction fantasy contamination programming. So if you stay up till 3 in the morning watching porn, or if you spend your college, your kid's college fund on gambling, or you have an affair, or you stay up till 3 in the morning, drinking, you can play the movie through of how shitty your day is going to be, so you viscerally can get into the things like that. And then I'm were very close to me and BJ Fogg. He's a professor at Stanford. One of his students took his Fogg behavioral model and created Instagram. The movie Social Dilemma, many of you probably seen that. Tristan Harris that did that's one of BJ Fogg's students. So BJ's this wonderful guy that wrote a book called Tiny Habits, and he's asked me to co-teach a program with him through Stanford. So I will actually get a stanford.edu email, and we're going to do a research study at Stanford on doing things to help people with addiction. So that hasn't been signed yet, but we're pretty close to doing that, and if we can do that, then we will broadly get addiction-related methodologies and stuff out into the world. And so I need a business in order to, any problem in the world can be solved with the right Genius Network. So I try to build Genius Networks outside of just my group Genius Network, but to build Genius Networks and to tackle addiction recovery and use my marketing skills in that way.
And going along with that, can we please put up the QR code? Joe has been so kind and generous to contribute his time, hang out with us, stick around for a Rockstar table, so you can hear all these crazy folks' questions and answer them. And so for anybody who makes a donation to Genius Recovery over the course of the weekend, they're doing such incredible work. I struggle with addiction, so it's very meaningful to me as well. Thank you.
Thank you. I really appreciate you.
I'm going to match that. So every dollar you put in is $2. Definitely.
Thank you. Thank you.
And no amount, $100, $50, no amount is too small. Even 0 to 1, as Nick says, is infinite relative change, and it could be a first domino.
Yeah, and we will share, and everyone that ever donates, I don't like just taking money from people. I want them to get value, so we send people books, we put things out there, and we help people not just in addiction recovery, but with any areas, because the world does need recovery, and we are now in a state of what's happened the last 2 years. There's so much suicide, there's so much generational trauma that's going to happen as a result of the pandemic, so more than ever, this is one of the greatest global crises, and I appreciate it, so thank you for mentioning this.
Thank you.
You're awesome.
Thank you.